So how do I buy Bitcoin?
Buying Bitcoin is quite easy. You can either do it online or in person. If you do it online, you can buy it through an exchange. There's a lot of exchanges out there. I used to work for one called Kraken. There's another popular one called Coinbase in the United States. So there's a lot of different exchanges you can go buy Bitcoin on. If you want to buy Bitcoin kind of the OG way being kind of the original hardcore Bitcoiner way, you would go buy them peer-to-peer. What do I mean by that? I mean actually going to a coffee shop and buying it from someone you don't know with cash. What's interesting about that method is there's no KYC, know your customer information. So exchanges collect things like your ID and other information about you to register those Bitcoin that you've purchased and register, hey, Dan Held, my name, Dan Held has bought these Bitcoin. Versus when you buy it with cash, that's off the record. It's not recorded. So if you want Bitcoin that are more private, you want to buy it peer-to-peer or with cash without that identifiable information. An exchange, if you don't know what that means, an exchange is where you can buy and sell Bitcoin, where essentially you take your dollars in your bank account or your euros or your yen, and you wire that or send that to this company called an exchange. The exchange then takes that fiat currency and allows you to buy crypto with it. Specifically, of course, Bitcoin, I think, is the one that you should be buying. When you buy Bitcoin with that, you can then take your Bitcoin and you can move that outside of the exchange to your own wallet. The exchange is basically the way in and out of crypto from the fiat system. So in the fiat system, you've got dollars, euros, yen. That's a traditional banking system. The exchanges are sort of the portals or gateways to buying and selling crypto, and then they allow you to remove it.
Can you name me some of the most well-known and respected exchanges out there?
Yeah, so when you look at the exchanges all across the world, there's quite a few. It depends on which geography you're in. The US and European ones are like Kraken and Coinbase, I'd say, that are the top two. You've also got Bitstamp as well. Internationally, you're looking more, Binance, Bitfinex. These are all great exchanges. They've all been around for a very long time. When you select an exchange, you're going to want to look at the reputation of one. But make sure, you do understand that when you interact with an exchange, that these are centralized businesses and they're not on the blockchain or anything like that. So, if you send your money in there and they're not reputable, they could do something bad with it. So you're going to want to do your research and really understand the good exchanges in your region.
What should I do after I've bought my first Bitcoin?
All right, great. So you've bought your Bitcoin for the first time and you're ready to move it to your own non-custodial wallet. What does the word non-custodial mean? Non-custodial means a wallet that is only controlled by yourself, no one else. Now, with that, there comes a lot of responsibility, and we'll go into that in a little bit. But when you take your Bitcoin off of an exchange, you're taking full possession over it, which means now you hold it, now you own it. The equivalent being, imagine you store your gold bars in someone else's vault. You're taking those gold bars and putting it in your own vault in your own home now. That's the equivalent of taking your money off an exchange and putting it into your own self-custodial wallet. All right, so you're going to buy Bitcoin for the first time, and you've moved some money, some dollars, euros, yens, pounds. You've moved those over to the exchange, you've wired it in, and you're about to make your first purchase. Just know that you don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. A Bitcoin is the largest denomination of Bitcoin as a money. You can kind of think about it being like almost like $1 million bill or something like that. So you can buy a very small amount of Bitcoin, and those are called Satoshis. But essentially most exchanges allow you to buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. So you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole one. A lot of people get a little freaked out by that. And so, yeah, you can own part of a Bitcoin and you can move that part of a Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network. So it is equally as valuable as buying a whole Bitcoin. Buying a fraction of Bitcoin is just like buying, just having like a quarter or $1 or a $10 bill. These are fractions or smaller denominations.
What is a wallet?
A wallet is where you hold your Bitcoin. So a wallet allows you to control and own your Bitcoin. It's basically you could think about it as a private bank vault in this file, which is really, really cool. And you can have this file on a dedicated hardware device, or you can have it on your phone. There's all sorts of risks and rewards and usability issues of having them on either. And so when you look at a wallet, it's really this safe or this bank vault on your phone or on a separate dedicated device.
Could I not just leave my Bitcoin on the exchange?
I wouldn't recommend leaving your Bitcoin on an exchange. That means you're trusting the exchange to behave properly, and you're trusting that they won't be hacked and that governments won't ask them for the Bitcoin. So you'd want to eliminate that as a risk. And that's what's so amazing about Bitcoin as a technology. It allows you to hold your own Bitcoin in your own vault, in your own wallet, where only you control it. And that's really powerful. And that's one of the biggest reasons why Bitcoin is such an impactful technology.
If I make a mistake with my Bitcoin and I lose it, who do I phone to get help?
Well, as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. With Bitcoin, you are your own support staff. You 100% control your Bitcoin by yourself, which means that if you forget the key to your vault, then you can't access your Bitcoin. So you're going to want to take very careful steps not to lose the ability to access your wallet. There are a lot of safe methodological ways to take your Bitcoin and store it properly. Definitely recommend you go check those out. Don't move all of your coins off of the exchange into the wallet in one go. Move a little bit, get comfortable with it. It's like anything else. It's like driving a car or handling a gun or doing your own taxes for the first time. There's a lot of finesse with it, and you're going to want to make sure you understand it. But you've handled more complicated things in your life, and you can definitely handle doing this. So move a little bit over, get comfortable with it, and then move the rest over later.
What is the difference between a hardware wallet and a software wallet?
A software wallet is on hardware that is used for something else. For an example of that would be your phone. Your phone doesn't have a dedicated hardware wallet built into it. Your phone is a device made for making phone calls and having other applications.
What is a hardware wallet?
A hardware wallet is a dedicated device where you can store your Bitcoin. So for example, it looks like a little USB stick. Now, why is that valuable, or why would people want to store their Bitcoin there? A hardware wallet, and by the way, a company that does this is called Ledger. A hardware wallet allows you to have Bitcoin that aren't connected to the internet. And that means that these Bitcoin are held in a separate device. And with this, since they don't access the internet, it reduces the amount of risk. If your wallet is a hot wallet or a wallet connected to the internet, that means that people can potentially hack it. Because this is a dedicated device that's standalone, it's much more secure and in a much better way to transact and store your Bitcoin long term.
Can you name me some of the most popular hardware wallets that I should check out?
So the most popular hardware wallet out there right now is Ledger. Ledger is a company based out of France. They do a phenomenal job of allowing you to hold Bitcoin and any other crypto asset in a way that's really seamless, really easy to use. The next one up would be Trezor. Trezor is really popular as well. They're more Bitcoin only. And then finally, you have Cold Card. Cold Card is your kind of hardcore advanced version that allows you to do much more advanced things. I could go into details, but you want to go do your research on all three and figure out which one is best for you.
What things should I be aware of when setting up a hardware wallet for my first time?
When you set your hardware wallet up for the first time, you're going to go through a series of steps in order to initiate the wallet or create the wallet. There's a very important part when you create it where you create a PIN. The PIN is like a 4 to 6 digit code that allows you to access the device, and your backup. Backup is a series of 12 to 24 words. It's very important that you store these 12 to 24 words, the backup, in a place that is safe, secure, and not accessible to anyone else. This backup allows you to restore the wallet if you forget your PIN number and can't get into the wallet. So there's two things that you need to remember when you set this up. One is your PIN. The second is your backup, the 12 to 24 words. Again, I cannot stress enough that you store these in a secure way. Make sure that no one else has access to them, because if they have access to those 12 to 24 words, they could take your Bitcoin. So it's a very, very simple thing. Just store those two properly and you'll be okay. But again, you have to store these in a place that's going to last a long time. I definitely recommend that you store your 12 to 24 words, the backup. You store that on titanium. There's a lot of providers out there. I personally use CryptoTag. You can hammer it into titanium plates that are crush-proof, fireproof, waterproof. You don't want any sort of event to occur where, say, there's flooding in your region and that would destroy your, if you wrote it on paper, that would destroy it. So definitely store it on titanium. That's the way to hodl Bitcoin long term.
What should I do when I want to send my first Bitcoin across to my hardware wallet?
Well, you're going to want to make sure that you've written your 12 to 24 words down properly. So that's your backup. You're going to want to make sure that you've done that in a smart way. So when you move coins over, you're going to want to move like $10 or $15 over. You move it to the hardware wallet address, and then you're going to want to practice as if the hardware device has a failure. So you wipe the hardware device, and then you have to restore it from those 12 to 24 words that you have stored very properly. When you do that correctly, you'll be able to resurrect the device and no money's been lost. If you had forgotten the 12 to 24 words, or you wrote them down incorrectly, then you won't be able to recover it, but you've only lost $10 or $15 in order to test this. This gets you comfortable with the restore scenario where you have to restore the wallet from the backup, and it makes you more confident in storing Bitcoin long term.